Okay, so thank you for joining this course. And my name is Abdul Wahab, and I'm a machine learning engineer. And I will be your instructor throughout this course and sharing my experience to teach you. Let's dive into the course outline and the introduction that we will cover in next 6 months. So, in the beginning, let's answer this question. What am I hearing that is data science? And what I'm hearing as ML, machine learning, what I'm hearing, artificial intelligence, AI. And the sequence of the definitions that I put here, like explaining what is data science first, has an intuition behind it. And the intuition behind putting data science first is that we are surrounded by data everywhere. Every year, the data that human beings are producing is increasing exponential. We have more and more data every day generated in our Android phones, iPhones, laptops, everywhere. We are generating data. When we are using right now, we are also generating data. We are in this conversation on this Zoom session, and I'm recording this Zoom session to actually share it with other members enrolled in this course. And this is a data that I'm generating. So every moment we are generating data, and data has a value. Data has a value when it can inform us, give us insights, and help us in making important decisions. How? Let's take an example in terms of engineering, and then we'll take an example in terms of sales or marketing, so that we can understand why data is so important, and how, being an engineer, I can actually impact in my field with data science, how being a salesperson or a marketing person, I can take advantage of data science or machine learning in my field, what benefit it will bring to my field, and how I can excel in my career. Those are the questions that will be answered here. And so first, when you say analyzing the data to gain insights and guiding the business decisions or the decisions based on the data in an engineering environment, if we are getting faults frequently from the equipment, we want to analyze the history of the equipment failures. And then based on the history of failures of the equipment, we can diagnose why the failures are happening so frequently. Or if the failures are happening, when next the failure will happen again, we can even predict that. So that is the value of data in one application in engineering. There can be thousands of applications with data where we can generate information and insights from the data and use in engineering. Same for sales. Last year in December, a company had a very large sales, and they want to predict what will be the sales. There are conventional models to predict the sales. There are actually machine learning or data science approaches where we can even take into account many factors and then try to estimate how much sales we can make in next year based on the 5 years sale. And even we can actually perform risk analysis. What factors can hinder our performance or can be an obstacle that we may not be able to meet our target? And all those things, actually, we can do it with data. So data is important. And why we call it data science? Because a data scientist is so close to the data, like a doctor to a patient. The data scientist has to be that much close to the data. He needs to understand the data very well. What is the data? Who generated this data? What is the source of data? How this data is useful? How can I actually even use this data to make useful decisions and help the business stakeholders or the people dependent or generating this data to make their lives easier? A lot that you can do with data. And that is why data science is a subfield in artificial intelligence that is actually, you can say, is overlapping with multiple fields, interdisciplinary fields that It has mathematics, it has statistics, it has this data analytics. A lot of things overlap with data science. So that is when you hear data scientist. It means that the data scientist is someone who is actually on the top level looking at the data, generating business insights, and creating some basic models with that data to guide the business decisions. Moving to machine learning. Machine learning is not a new field. It has been here long ago, since maybe all of us were not even born. It has been here. And but it actually has gained a lot of publicity in past few years, and in, I would say, last decade, that when so much advancements have happened and the hardware of computer hardware, that made people realize the usefulness of these fields. And in machine learning, we actually build algorithms and models which learn from data. Now, what will happen, for example, a model or an algorithm, we will discuss in very much detail what is a model, but it is your first day and it is an introduction. So consider model, a representation, a mathematical representation, or a black box. Let's call it a black box. That model is a black box. And model learns from data. And it can actually perform specific tasks for which we trained it. Training is another word that you will learn. What is training of model? That is something we will see even in the modules. But first thing, a model is a black box that learns from data. And what we want to make it learn, for example, weather forecasting. We want to train that, we want that black box to learn from the weather data to predict the weather for next 5 days, next 10 days, or next whole year. Then we have this black box, and we really wanted to learn the pattern of the next word that we are going to type in our phone. We all have it in our phones. And when we are typing, it is suggesting the next word. That is a black box. That is just learning from your behavior, your patterns, and it's suggesting you the word that you were just going to type, or maybe semantically the word that should be there in the sentence. So these black boxes, which we call models, that you can actually develop, which can actually perform the tasks that were so difficult for a human or for the conventional mathematical or statistical models to perform, or the methods to perform. So weather forecast has been here for a long time, but it has improved when we have adopted machine learning and AI. And moving on to AI, and some people would definitely have heard a terminology called artificial general intelligence, AGI, that every big company in the world is actually trying to compete to achieve AGI, artificial general intelligence, to have, for machines or computers to actually have the intelligence that is superseding the intelligence of human beings. And yeah, that is the goal everybody is trying to achieve. Imagine what a human can do, machines cannot do, actually, right? But that is where we want to go. When a ball is coming to me, I can estimate the speed of the ball, that I can move my body. Based on that, my reflexes are actually the learning that I have done over the course of my life, that for last 30, 35 years, I have learned that how to actually save myself, how to survive if I fall, I feel pain. And there are so many things that since childhood, I have been automatically learning. You have been automatically learning. It's a lot of data that we have absorbed. We don't know it, but we have absorbed a lot of data from which we have learned. We have developed our consciousness, our thinking based on that. And that is something all the big companies in the world are trying to achieve from the machines to generate artificial general intelligence that can, in general, be intelligent than a human being in every field, in finance, in medical, in engineering. It can almost supersede human intelligence. That is the goal. And please, no, never mind, we are not yet there. We are trying to go there. And yes, one thing for sure that I want to add here, I'm not saying that AI should replace human beings. This is not what I want. And it can also not happen. Just remember, whenever a technological advancement has come, it has always created new jobs. It has transformed one kind of jobs into another kind of job. But jobs have always been created. It cannot replace human beings. And yeah, the only thing that it will replace is that those who are using AI for the good of humanity and to grow in their career, to help advance in their career, fine. Those people will definitely succeed. But those who are not using AI, who are not even adopting it in their everyday use cases, where they don't need to spend a lot of time, like I guess almost every one of you have heard what is ChatGPT. I'm sure 90% of you have seen it. ChatGPT. That is one thing. A lot of you may have heard about Claude, Gemini. All these are the AI tools that you can interact with. You can ask them questions and they can answer your questions. And you can even ask them to search on internet to look for some information and give you references. And we will even do a small tutorial right here. And we are going to do it with all three tools actually in this class today. I'm going to take you through ChatGPT. I'm going to take you through Claude, and I'm also going to take you through Perplexity. Okay, and we'll see how it works. So those are few things, and then let's move on to the outline models, because what we are going to look at for ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity will be towards the end of this. And but for now, let's look into what we are going to learn in this course. And these are the 6 modules for this course. The first module, and every module is based on 4 weeks. As I said earlier, this course is for 6 months, and every module that we have is on has a span of 4 weeks. So the first module is for Python introduction, data structures, and basic setup. And we will go into the key modules that you will cover in all of them. So there are a lot of courses online for Python introduction. They are also great. Why we have included Python as a first module? Maybe a lot of you know the Python already. That is a great thing to know. It's a great tool if you have it. Some of you may be already experienced with Python. That is also good. But some may be a beginners, or maybe some of you have not even have never heard of Python. You have not even tried a single line of Python code in your life, or maybe you have not even tried coding in your life. That can also happen. So I wanted to take everyone together with us so that they can also catch up. So that is why the first module is on Python introduction, data structures, and basic setup. The second module is on data handling, data analysis, and visualization. The core concepts of data science will be taught in module 2. So module 1 is more about making you ready to dive into module 2, because if you don't know Python, if you don't know how to do the basic setup, what are the data structures, if you don't understand all the jargons in it, you cannot dive into the data science. So that is why we are taking it step by step in a chronological order. Then module 3, it's getting advanced now. You will learn machine learning. Along with that, we will teach you Git version control. So some of you might say that why Git version control? Actually, is it not something like a software related thing? It is. Git has a very much importance in your daily work as a software engineer, as a developer, as a machine learning engineer or data scientist. If you are developing and updating your work, you need to control the versions. Not that you made some changes yesterday and today you forgot what you were using 2 days ago. So you lost all of your work? No. That is why we have this Git version control, that we can always go back and see what were we working on few days ago, what were we working on 5 hours ago when we were not facing an error and now we are facing an error. So that is important. And when you are collaborating in teams, remember, you will never work alone. You will be always working in teams. You will always be collaborating with others on projects. And one way of collaboration between the teams is using the Git. So we will dive into the Git as well. We will teach you what is Git, how you can perform the version control, and so that you can be ready to start working in industry. And then it's getting more advanced now. After machine learning and Git version control, we will teach you deep learning and model training. So remember model, the black box that we discussed in the beginning of this session, and then we have training of that black box to make it learn from the data. So those are actually pretty advanced things following the order. And now you might see something bash scripting and Linux OS basics. Why is this needed? Well, it is very important as a developer, data scientist, or a machine learning engineer that you know how Linux operating system works and how you can make use of it. Right now, if you would have noticed, I'm using Ubuntu, Linux one of distributions for Linux operating system. And it's very important that you also learn it. And bash scripting is another programming language that is used for mostly for scripting to automate the tasks. Very much important. Sometimes you have thousands of directories and you want to go through each one of those directories to look for some files, read those files, concatenate them or merge them into a single file. Those are the automations actually that you can really achieve using bash scripting. No doubt you can even do them with Python as well, but these are very handy tools, and there are some things that you will definitely be doing with Python, and there are some things that you will be wrapping in a bash scripting. And using the Linux, if you are working with any software company, either they will be using Mac or they will be using Linux. I'm not saying that data scientists don't use Windows machines, but I'm saying as you progress in your career and you get more advanced towards deep learning, large language models, and all that stuff, and model training at scale, you better know Linux as well. So that is why Bash scripting and Linux is something we have included in this course to make you very well aware and prepared when you start your career or when you take a next step in your career. Okay. Now, final model deployment and containerization. That is the peak of advanced lectures that we can go up to in this 6 months course. There is still a lot that you can learn and explore. And I'm learning still. I'm learning every day. I'm exploring every day. So will you. But this will really give you enough information to start and learn, and even enough confidence that you can start as a junior position, as a junior data scientist, or as a junior machine learning, or as an intern in some companies, or as a freelancer. You can offer your services so that you can kickstart your career, or you can start actually utilizing these skills. Any questions so far, gentlemen and ladies? Okay, hearing nothing, let's move on. So here we have a breakdown of the key modules that I want to show you. In module 1, I said we will be learning Python introduction, data structures, and basic setup. But then we have a certain breakdown for that module that we will be teaching you Python language introduction, basic data structures with Google Colab. So in the beginning of this course, when I'm teaching you Python, I don't want you to actually start setting it up locally on your laptops. No. I want you to take your time to learn and understand the programming with Python. And what is Python? What is programming? How you can actually write real, tangible codes in Python and execute them. Then we have some advanced programming in Python, which is called object-oriented programming. We will touch base with that, and so that you even have idea of advanced skills. It is very important. Object-oriented programming is also important. Then we will take you through VS Code. Don't worry if you don't know the terms yet. When we go to these modules, step by step, when the time comes, we will be explaining it to you. What is the purpose of each tool that I'm mentioning today? What is the purpose of each of these buzzwords, which are actually just buzzwords right now because you are hearing them maybe first time, or some of you might be already aware of them. That what is VS Code, Python environment, pip, conda. These are the things that we will take you through. Then in module 2, we will learn data analysis, arrays and matrices, and data visualization with 3 core libraries: pandas, numpy, matplotlib. Very important. They are actually super important, and every day we use them. Almost every day we are using them. Similarly, moving on to the next, machine learning and Git version control, we will spend machine learning with scikit-learn, another buzzword as a library. And then we will do GitHub, which is for version control. GitHub is something you must have heard already. And then Git Bash is also a tool that you can install and for version control. And also, just to let you know, even if you have Windows on most of your computers, no problem. Throughout this course, you will not face any problem while using these tools on Windows. I have actually used them on Windows as well, along with OS. Not Mac OS, Linux OS. And you will also be able to do. And if you have any problems, you can always comment on that video tutorial and I can help you. Moving on to the last slide of this deck, and then we will go into this question answer session, and then I will give a small demo of how ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Claude are some AI-based tools that people are using in their daily life every day, and how I really want you to actually grow and utilize something like that. Deep learning and model training, advanced tools. Deep learning with PyTorch and TensorFlow. When you actually start learning deep learning from any online course or tutorials, they always teach you TensorFlow first, and then they take you through PyTorch. We will also do the same, but we will focus more on PyTorch, because when you are working with this PyTorch module that I'm referring, you will really learn a lot of things so closely that you may think that, oh, that was important. So that is why we will focus more on PyTorch, but we will teach you both of these frameworks that are very famous in deep learning. And then we will teach you how to use the GPUs to train the models. Very important. How to efficiently utilize them. GPUs are graphic processing units, and the advancement that we have seen in machine learning and AI was actually a lot dependent on these architectures, hardware architectures that improved over time, that made it possible to have large language models, which are AI tools like ChatGPT that we use today. Then Bash scripting and Linux OS basics that I said, we will teach you what is Bash scripting and how you can utilize it. Then we will also go through Linux and Ubuntu operating system, how you can set it up. So that, and also just to give you guys another idea why Linux and Bash scripting is actually important. A lot of us, like developers and data scientists and machine learning engineers, sometimes when we are performing the model training, that I keep calling model training, where I'm teaching a black box how to learn from data and to learn from data, we use servers, we use clusters, which we call, where we have a lot of computers connected together. Most of those servers, clusters available have Linux, and most of the time we will not have a graphical user interface. We will be only working from a command line interface, which we call CLI, command line interface, CLI. And we will be just operating everything from there. So if I will be going into something, so for example, let me open the terminal here and give you a small demo of what I mean. So right now, I just opened a terminal in front of you, and everybody can see that. And I'm just giving a demo. This is a screen. Now I will stop using my cursor. I will only type. So you will not see me using the cursor now. So you see, I'm only using the keyboard. And for example, this is the server which I can access. So if I need to check something or view something or read something here, I have to just follow the steps of commands inside this terminal. And I don't even have cursor to actually, don't have visual interface. Cursor can still work, but so I'm just listing whatever is present here. So I'm able to see what are the folders here, what are the files here. So that is how I just listed them to see. I can even see the content, what do I have inside on desktop. Let me check. What do I have on my desktop actually? Oh, I have nothing on my desktop actually. And then I can check, do I have anything in my downloads? Oh, I have a lot of files in my downloads. I did not use my cursor. I did not click there, but this is CLI, command line interface, that you should also be familiar with so that you can work professionally with other mates. That was one thing, just for example. Now, coming back to the final model deployment. So the black box that I'm saying that we will be training, and the black box that we will make it learn from data, is a model, and we deploy it. Deployment means that we make it available, make it readily available for use by others. For example, ChatGPT, it's a model. It is deployed somewhere.